Oh, baby. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Holy moly, Bitcoin stabbing up to just about 19,000 bucks last night during my nice little slumber. So we got plenty to talk about today on the high term timeframes and also on the low term timeframes. Plenty going on as well. With that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. I would also like to make a few announcements before we get into, of course, as always, when it comes down to Discord, anyone's welcome. It's all good. You just have to follow the directions, of which are going to be prompted to you by the alt identifier security bot as soon as you join it in from the link below. If you're confused with that process at all, I made a video for you that is the channel homepage video. So if you're subscribed to this channel, it's just a video that automatically plays when you first sign in. Also, there's been some sort of imposter going around on YouTube. I think that it should be probably pretty damn obvious for most people out there. They have the exact same name as my name, same picture as well and everything, but I can just tell you straight up if I'm messaging, or if it looks like I'm messaging you and I'm asking you for money or asking you to trade your account or anything of that nature, it's not me. I'm not interested in doing that at all whatsoever. So with that in mind, I also do want to say that there might actually be a really surprising announcement that I think a lot of people with the caretaker RSI are going to be really fucking happy about soon as well. So keep an eye out for that. And what else? I think that's it. I can tell you this, though, from my experiences yesterday. If you want to be an American buying a house overseas, it's not fucking easy. It's really not easy. Jesus Christ, man. This probably has been an absolute headache. But you don't give a fuck about that. Let's talk about some goddamn magic internet money business over here. And on the Krown Chain application, which we found at app.krownchain.net, what do we see? We do see open interest actually spiking up another almost 200 million, as we did see it yesterday, kind of hovering around about 3 billion. So with Bitcoin price action having that next about $800 move to the upside from what we were looking at yesterday, that would essentially be supported by the by new positions being opened, of which that would still look like this rally is in motion, as crazy as that sounds. Bitcoin dominance still kind of hovering within the same region as well, technically down about 0.1%, but realistically that's not much. I do want to check out the Bitcoin dominance chart today, seeing as it is going to be a weekend and typically things are a little bit slower. And what do we see over here on the fear and greed index as well? We do see it coming down, or no, we do see it popping up to 91 from an 86. Funnily enough, even with Bitcoin reaching back up towards about 19,000 bucks, almost moon boobs times, we do see, by the way, for anyone who's new here, Els is getting new titties at 20,000 bucks. So if you don't know about moon boobs, now you do. Anyways, yes, so looking at what exactly was I looking at right there? Yes, the fear and greed index. We actually aren't even looking at the highest level that we've seen on this rally just yet. Just early this week, we did spike a 94 right here on the move, just above 18,000 bucks. So with that in mind, it can certainly still stay within this region for quite some time. Just a funny aside, I've seen the fear and greed index stay a lot higher for a lot longer in comparison to when major lows are put in. Usually it spikes down, and that's kind of more representative of human emotions in this case. But in the in euphoria stages, kind of what we're looking at right now, they can stay up there. In the past we have seen it go on for a month or two. If you do have historical data for this, unfortunately it's not available on our app. It'll just be generated over time. But for now, you can you can also verify that yourself. Looking at the funny rates over here, we do have a few not so interesting things actually. We do see FTX hovering around about 0.04%. So yesterday it was around 0.1, didn't quite get there actually. However, now backing off during the weekend, and we do see kind of all the major exchanges basically on the low side, what I essentially consider par for the course at 0.01%, or just anywhere around there. Anything between negative 0.1 and regular positive 0.1, is essentially inconsequential. Just kind of preparing for what's going on, and it's very fucking funny to hear people's theories on what causes the differential in funding. It has nothing to do with who's long and who's short. It has literally nothing to do with that at all. It's the difference between the spot price action, which is typically represented by some sort of perpetual contracts, if you're familiar with BitMEX or Deribit, for example, and then it's going to be the difference of that marked to the index. So the index is typically an average of a couple of different spot exchanges or more, usually going to be GDAX and I don't know, Bitstamp, and maybe a few others. But basically the difference between that actually does make up the funny rate. So that's kind of how they do kind of keep them more or less marked against each other while technically having perpetual contracts. Anyways, that's less important than what we're going to talk about right now. Let's go start it off with, wait, did I want to make one more announcement? Yeah, it might be on Twitch today. I'm not sure though. Feeling a little bit shitty myself. Anyways, let's see. Okay, yes, I do want to start off on the secondary charts. Once again, they're quickly becoming my primary charts. We do have a 2-day closing tonight, and we do have a chance to do something that we haven't done in a little bit of time, which is close a 2-day dildo above the top side Tron band. Obviously, the last time that we did do this was basically middle of November here. It's not that far ago, to be fair. But if we do close above, this is the most important thing that I'll probably say today, and it's going to supersede a lot of the things that I say on the lower term timeframes, because it's going to be more relevant for the long term, so to speak. And if we do see today's 2-day total close above the top side shoulder band, which is currently 18,675 on Stamp, I'm curious what it is on GDAX. Yeah, 18,677. So fair enough, about the same thing. And if we do close above there, I would be looking for this run to continue onwards and upwards to new highs somewhere in the, I guess our next targeted area is going to be like mid 19,000s when we go through the lower term timeframes. However, if Bitcoin does close the 2-day below the top side shoulder band, which again is closing tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, it's not a death sentence in and of itself. It depends how it looks like. But there are going to be a few things that potentially signal that we might be putting in a medium term top. But as it is right now, no, not even that condition is met. And of course, it's a 3-day that we've really been referencing that has had one of the most intense, and I believe this is maybe the most historic run. Now, this is not something that I like doing, but I do think that I just kind of show you perhaps how kind of crazy things are getting right now. I don't believe that Bitcoin's ever in its history had this many green, girthy 3-day closes in a row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, again, I do not think, I want to be very, very clear on this. I do not think that, just because you've had 7 or, 20 or fucking 12 or 12 or whatever it ends up being in a row, that means anything else. But if we go back in time, I actually don't think that this is, I believe that this is unprecedented territory that we're in right now. Even during the most intense runs of 2017, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. We had, okay, this definitely not gonna be as much as well. Yeah, none of these, maybe this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, still not. This one over here, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pretty damn close, but still not quite there. And of course, actually, we might have a contender right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, okay, so definitely right there. So only one other time we've actually put in this many at a singular point, and this was a pretty phenomenally parabolic rally right here, going all the way from about $120 to $11.50, an 860% run right there. And I believe that is the most slew in a row. And I believe, sorry, I didn't even officially count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Very interesting. So yes, technically, it's actually not unprecedented. But I just thought it was a little bit interesting there. Again, is this anything to really base any sort of actual analysis on? No, just to compare to history, kind of like where this might fit in as far as like craziest rallies that Bitcoin's witnessed, which is still not even there, which is quite perspective giving. Seeing as this rally has been essentially straight up ever since $10,000 all the way to where we are right now. Now officially just under 90%. From top to bottom on last major low, actually, or last macro low, you could say. So with that in mind, again, big focus on the 2-day closure tonight, anywhere above the top side shoulder band once again, which is actually currently where it is right now. Actually, I guess it's a few bucks below, but right around here essentially. Then yes, I would be looking for new highs on this run into likely the mid 19s, which we'll reference in this video when we go down to the low term timeframes. But I do want to check out a few more things on these secondary timeframes right here. Daily is kind of brushing up against the top side shoulder band as it is, not a death sense in and of itself. But if you do, the next sort of piece price action, which I imagine would very likely come alongside the 2-day, both closing tonight at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, any sort of a closure above 18.9 is on the top side of this one as well. Yeah, it's still trending, still more. Let's see what else we got. We do have DMI plus actually still looking dominant, and ADX is still strengthening, as crazy as that sounds. We do have divergence likely forming from our last major high, but that would also imply that we'd have to put in and confirm a local high right here, which Bitcoin has not done, and that would at least take until tomorrow at the very earliest if that even was going to happen. So MACD is just straight fucking moon. Jesus Christ. And what do we see on I'm curious what the 12-hour shows here too. Yeah, basically the same thing. Actually, the ADX is a little bit more young in its life as far as strengthening right there, and 4-hour kind of doing the same thing here too. Just out of curiosity, what would the 2-day be looking like? Very interesting. So yes, that again supersedes anything else that I'm going to say. Now let's go down to the lower term timeframes, and again realize that when we talk about low term timeframes, it's only relevant to the low term timeframes. It's not going to be too effective towards what we were looking at just earlier. And of course, I do want to reiterate that all of that stuff that we just said If that happens, I'm looking for new highs. Anyways, as it stands right now, Bitcoin on the 4-hour lower term timeframes, we are starting to put in potentially a little bit of bearish divergence right here. If Bitcoin will confirm a local high, again, yet to happen until Bitcoin closes a 4-hour dodo, let's call it below about 18.6. That will not even be available. But if Bitcoin does do that, then yes, I would be looking for Bitcoin to come back down, likely somewhere around 18,100-ish region for a short-term pullback. I don't really imply anything more on top of that. But I would essentially be looking in line with the 21 exponential average right here, which is actually a little bit lower than that, but it will be rising up over time as well. 4-hour Stokes are a little bit weakening in the critical zone. Again, long term, we are really starting to see this kind of take on the same sort of interpretation that I typically do see in traditional markets. What I mean by that is when you're in a strong trending move, you look at your momentum oscillators not to like fucking sell tops or anything like that. What you look at them is to buy the pullbacks. And in this case right here, just also between the critical zone and the edge of the bullish control zone for the most part, that's a very strong read. So that is, that is bullish overall. And looking at historical volatility percentile here as well, what do we see? We do see it actually coming down and contracting rather aggressively, which is what you typically do see on the weekend as well. Usually going to be a little bit of rangy while liquidating the over leveraged people from the earlier week. In this case, I would be equally unsurprised as if Bitcoin got a move down to like 18,000 base and then also moved up to like 19,500. I'll just say that straight up right there. It is a Saturday after all. But at the end of the day, because Bitcoin's trend during the week has been to the upside, if Bitcoin does break to the upside here, that is efficacious, again, supported by the open interest also kind of following through with that. And then, of course, if Bitcoin were to break to the downside, that would be, on the weekend, that would be a damn good opportunity, at least in my opinion, especially if it got like down to one of the more crazier, or not crazier, but one of the more bigger levels from where we are right now, like right around 17,000 bucks. That would be a very obvious scalp buy for a nice, weekend play, which I very rarely do, if ever. Anyways, moving on to the 3-hour over here. What do we see? We do see 3-hour Stokes, nice and pointed down, nice and flaccid, if you will. What do we see on 3-hour RSI? Again, long term, very constructive, very good. It's bullish. I mean, there's nothing really to say about that. Same thing with the 4-hour as well. Actually playing out the hidden bullish divergence from yesterday, as you can see. However, can we play it a little bit of short term and down? Yes, I do think so. And to move back down towards anywhere around like 18.1 or 18.2, I do think it's likely in the cards. Just kind of looking at this historical volatility percentile is looking like it's going to go into a little bit of an expansion here. But oh wait, no, hold on. We didn't do the 3-hour, did we? Yeah, sorry, I meant to do the 3-hour. Yeah, 3-hour Stokes are coming down too. So okay, well I guess we just spoiled the surprise. And 3-hour RSI, does look like it has a little bit of downside here, but long term, again, this is constructive. So I don't, I need to be very careful with my words, because while I am looking probably for some short-term downside today, that's not going to affect what we see on the 2-day. Again, if that condition is met of closing above basically where we are right now. If Bitcoin closes literally right here, I'm looking for new highs on this run, regardless of what the short-term today does. But yeah, going on to the 2-hour as well. Yep, we already did see 2-hour Stokes coming down. So 2, 3 on the same side, and 4-hour looking like it does want to kind of follow through as well. Same thing with 2-hour RSI. It's long-term very good. Short-term, though, likely does come down and pops back somewhere into the upper neutral zone. And historical volatility percentile on this time frame as compared to the 3-hour is now the 3 and 4 are very obviously contracting. So the buy early, I'm gonna write this one off as a little bit of a one-off there, especially if the hourly says the same thing, which it does. Okay, excellent. So we do have consensus here, and in that case, I'd essentially be looking for Bitcoin to do a little bit of contraction on the lower term timeframes. What does that mean within the context of the current trend? Probably sideways and down. If I had to call it right now, maybe somewhere around 18.1, maybe 18.2, and try another bounce there, and then specific interest on the weekly closure. Well, the weekly closure will be of interest, but the 2-day closure, of course, coming tonight, and the daily by extension as well. What else do I want to say? Back onto the hourly over here. Yep, we already see hourly Stokes down. Okay, so basically all the lower term timeframes are on the same side. Hourly RSI, same shit. What do we see on hourly Joule? Hourly Joule is given this is a weird thing, and I've been documenting this recently, and I think a few other people in the Joule have as well. For whatever reason, the lower term timeframes on the Joule over the weekend seem to work pretty well. The higher term timeframes over the weekend do not, as I've been saying for a long time now, but it's kind of hard to ignore what I've been seeing here over the past few weekends, especially. I mean, we had this signal back around here, and that was on the hourly going all the way from like 18 to, wait, am I exactly right on that? Yeah, it was the move from 18 to all the way, oh my God. That's $1,000 move right there on an hourly. It's not always going to be like that though, to be fair. But yes. I have been seeing it work out, on the lower term timeframes on the weekends a lot better. Just something to keep an aside on. Again, for full transparency, I almost never ever trade on weekends unless if it's like so fucking obvious that it's painful not to take, which does happen. Anyways, looking at hourly historical volatility percentile, obviously contracting rather aggressively here. And of course, if we were to fit a nice little regression on this, you can see that we are kind of wedging ourselves into a nice consolidation phase, of which I'd probably be looking for a resolution. Actually, maybe around the time that CMEs open up tomorrow would be about right. So late Sunday, maybe early Monday, for those of you in the European time zone out here. But yeah, all lower term timeframes looks like they do want to play out a little bit of a pullback here. Like I said, tentative targets would be anywhere between about 18.1 and 18.2, but I really want to see the 2-day closure tonight. That's the big one. That's the one that can really make me, I guess, interested. For the continuation. And of course, could it also be that Bitcoin just fucking bulldozes its way to the upside and continues onwards up from here and plays no pullback? Yes, of course. But keep in mind, we've hit a lot of targets here with a 3.618 Fibonacci extension right around 18.9. We hit the measure move off this area right here. I forget if there's like a historical thing, but I do remember that Caretaker's magic over here did about hit its target. I believe yesterday it was showing the 12-hour target, sell one at 19.1. Obviously, that's going to progress with a new candlestick, and so now we kind of find ourselves here as it is on a Saturday. Curious if there's anything more obvious on like a 4 hour. 4 hours once again. 4 hour actually says bullish. Oh my god, man, this is too much. This is too much tuna. Too much tuna. All right, well, fair enough. And also it is showing us sell one at 19 and sell two at 19,350. Very interesting here. Very interesting. 12 hour still has second target at 20,500. And yeah, same thing for daily as well about. Okay, well, fair enough. Anyways, back onto it over here. I want to go through my regular chart still first, and let's go to the medium term time frame and see what we got. 12 hour is showing what? It is showing, oh baby, get ready for it. Oh, by the way, this was fucking good. I didn't even realize it, but someone tagged me in the Discord yesterday. I think it was Mr. MRMRS. I don't know if I don't know if that's the exact proper way to pronounce his name, but he's over in there in the Discord. I see him a lot of the time. He's fucking funny motherfucker, as are a lot of people actually. But he said, Krown, did you not post a Forex video today, referencing yesterday? I thought I did. I recorded one and I literally put it up on YouTube. Did every fucking thing that I thought, that I typically do. Apparently, I never took it off private, motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Anyways, struggles, if you will. Yesterday was quite the struggle indeed. But yes, 12 hour coming back down, and it's time to hold our breath once again. We can probably even increase this angle here too. As I say, it has been increasing in its severity. First was kind of right here, then, rally intensifies, and probably rally intensifying once again. If I had to guess, it'd probably be somewhere right around here. Again, it should act as a regression. It's not like a perfect fucking trend. But time to hold your breath once again, because if this area does break, which it's going to get tested, certainly on this next tick, it looks like, well, this is the same kind of regression that's been getting all of the lows on this whole run, on this whole unabated run ever since early September, down around $10,500 right here, getting this low, 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 and then once again getting this low over here. Well, it's going to once again have a chance to potentially get the low, if you will. But until it actually breaks, I guess it wouldn't be very wise to say, or at least it's been very much a career-ending decision to fade a signal like that as it is just yet. But once again, we will have another chance on this next tick coming in about 5 hours, 57 minutes, and 56 seconds. So keep an eye on that, as it will be very likely what's called confirmed by the time. Well, it's going to take a little bit after I post this video, I suppose. Anyways, going over here to the 12-hour RSI, still long-term constructive, very fucking good long-term. However, is going to be producing some divergences. If it does start to put in a high right here, is it in danger of putting in a high right now? Well, no, actually not at all. In fact, it would take at least until today's daily closure at the very earliest to confirm that as well. And we'd have to close the 12-hour as it is right now, somewhere, basically right here, and then close the next one maybe below about 18.4 or 18.420, because that's a great number. 12-hour Joule giving another warning signal, but this is again really not the time to be using it. I do not trust the Joule on the weekend, and I don't really trust many indicators in a rally like this. How about that? Really don't trust much. So let's go reference what CME's closed at for Friday, because they actually did close the week out. And yet again, another warning signal here is being printed. But is that a sell posturing? It's flipping around to a sell posturing, but it's still not there just yet. So for those of you who have been patiently waiting for it, it looks like we got more to wait for, I suppose. And as it stands, did the 12-hour on CME's close the week out as a potential high? Starting to look a little bit toppy there, yes. But more than anything, we actually hit some hidden bullish divergence before that. Oh my God, man. Getting this move from about, of 17.6 all the way to 19. So there we go. Historic volatility percentile is starting to redline here though. So I would start to take that as a signal as, hey, momentum is waning. Look at the volume on this rally as well. We do see that participation is starting to wane a little bit as well. It's not like a death signal just yet, but we can draw another regression in here too and fill this area out for a little bit more, maybe like early December, middle of December, somewhere around there. This will start to be forced into a decision. But as it stands right now, we do see that participation within this rally actually is starting to, it's starting to go down a little bit, but really not conclusive just yet. And like I said, that's going to take a little bit of time to fill out regardless. So as it stands right now, looking at CMEs, yes, we did see expansion from yesterday. Yes, things did get a little bit crazy. I think that they can get a little bit crazy over here, but we are starting to see more signals of weakness come in and potentially a medium-term high. But again, all of the criteria that we had spoken about earlier, that matters most right now. And of course, if Bitcoin were to reverse over the weekend, which I think would be highly unlikely, like a continuation reverse, not just like a reverse on Saturday and then pop back up on Sunday, because that's that typically does actually happen. But in this case right here, I wouldn't really be fucking around with like flipping around to full on bear mode, or not even full on bear mode, but even like considering like a major, potentially even high time frame top until Bitcoin closes a 4-hour delta below 17.6, and even then it's like that's really the initial warning signal right there too. So Bitcoin's got a lot of work to do if it really does want to undo this as it is right now. Can certainly do it, but if I had to call it right now, oh, Sleeping Beauty, guess what? Bitcoin's $1,000 away from your new titties. Woo! You excited? I'm excited. It could be 20. Oh, right. Anyways, so yeah, as it stands right now, what exactly was I saying before I was so rudely interrupted? If I had to call it right now, short-term time frames probably do pull back a little bit, but that's not to call any sort of long-term down. What I need to see for a long-term down is either a 4-hour closure below the last sort of base that we put in over the last few days at 17.6, which is basically the same areas as we had laid out yesterday, or well, no, the 2-day closure is not going to do it to me. Two-day really only gives me continuation here unless like we close below $18,000 tonight, which I guess is possible, but I wouldn't really say that it's that likely right now. But fair enough. So if Bitcoin does close above the top side Toronto band, I'm basically looking for new highs, probably into the mid 19,000s. Let's start to map out those upside targets actually. Okay, so I believe I did an extension for this time frame as well. Yeah, I got the last one on the board now, 4.236, right around 19.6 actually, and I believe that was also in line with one of Caretaker's presumed targets as well. Keep in mind though that things are pretty damn extended here, but they can get more extended. As I've been saying for the last few days. There's one major things that I've learned from trading. I'll show you what I traded and where I learned. it wasn't in Microsoft, but this one is it's a good one. It's technically in SPY, but you can see the same sort of shit in here too. This is Microsoft. I used to trade it. Oh, Jesus. I think I started quoting it somewhere in like 2013, 2014 right here when it was, in the mid to upper 30s. And basically SPY was looking like the same thing as well, to be fair. And I was trying to find the top because this looked crazy to me. And I stopped trading traditional markets about in 2018, somewhere about middle of 2018, something like that. But yeah, all throughout this area right here, it was always like, this rally is too crazy. And because it looks like this at the time. And this is on linear scale, by the way. So this is the more crazier version. It looked like this at the time. It's like, oh fuck, this is some shit right here. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not that it doesn't matter. It's just, it can always go more than you think. It always will go more than you think. So I've learned, that's why I'm very conservative with trading in that regard. It doesn't mean that I'm 100% going to be right, but I just don't like to, I don't like to lose my account when all you have to do is just get long in a movement like this, right? So yeah, that happened probably back around here in about 2013. That's when I started that, and then 2014 got a little bit nastier. So fair enough. But yes, that's my point. Is that things, even though they do seem like they're really overdone, it's always perspective, because it might look overdone right here. When you look at like this, does that segment over here look overdone? No, not at all. If I put it on log scale, then it doesn't really look all that crazy at all. So let's actually do the same thing with Bitcoin, just for perspective sake. This is your log scale right here. Let's go down to a daily. This is, again, your log scale right here. Let's go to linear. It's not that different, actually. If we pull it back down to like 4,000, yeah, it's going to be different. But it definitely goes, a lot more vertical. Log scale, it goes a little bit more lovingly, I guess. So fair enough. Anyways, okay, so we went through all of that. Did we go through the daily on this chart as well? Yeah, daily stocks probably, oh, wow, nope, they're still up. Oh shit. Do we even have potential daily bearish divergence? Potentially if Bitcoin puts in a high here, but again, that's going to take at least until tomorrow to confirm. So it's certainly not even happening today. Daily Jewel is daily Jewel. Oh my God, this is fucking wild. Yes, this is a warning segment, but there is no signal given. And if anything, it's switching around into a long posture again. Not that I don't think that I've ever really seen a signal in this region ever. Let's actually just see. Yeah, not really. I guess right over here. Yeah, that'd be the closest I can find. That was November 2017, by the way, if that gives you any idea of kind of like where we're at right now. So fair enough. And that actually did play out a little bit more because we did have another month of a rally, to be fair. Jesus Christ, man, that is crazy. But yeah, it's not even in a sell posturing right now, which is rather enlightening, I suppose you could say. I'm curious what the 2-day suggests as well. Same thing. Not even it's a warning signal, but it's not in a sell posturing. This market's fucking crazy, man. Let's go over to CMEs and check out what they're, see if there's anything more obvious over here. Lower term timeframes do look a lot more toppy here, to be fair. Bearish divergence is certainly forming and will be confirmed with any sort of a closure below 18.6 on CMEs, but that's not trading today, so it doesn't matter. What about 12-hour right here? Yeah, we looked at that one, kind of redline on the on volatility. Daily, getting up there as well, but do we have any divergences to be spoken of right here? No, actually we don't. In fact, we are doing the opposite of divergence. It's a continuation. Jesus, man. Fucking nutso market. Anyways, I think that's it for Bitcoin. So yes, if it basically, and what would basically drive those next upside targets? I would probably not even use anything on the low term time frame for that. I'd still wait for the daily and 2-day closure tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Again, anywhere above 18,650, we'll call it. Then yeah, I'm basically looking for continuation, 2 new highs on this run, probably somewhere around like 19,500, we'll call it for now. Anyways, let's go check out Mrs. Linky over here. Linky Dinky, looking good as well, actually. Historic volatility percentile incredibly low after a nice contraction phase going back to late September, it looks like. So we are gearing up for a nice move, and I would guess that this expansion is likely to come to the upside. Momentum oscillators are nice and healthily erect. We do see daily RSI is very constructive here. Link's getting ready. Link is, okay, sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. Link is very likely getting ready. I like what Link is doing here. Link probably goes up. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but check out the weekly. We did hit our first target at 15 bucks. Well, I guess we technically didn't because it's about 10 cents under, but fair enough. I still remain with my long-term targets of 16.5 and probably beyond. Looks good. And we'll look at the dominance soon enough, though, my friends. But for now, looking good right there. What about Mr. Buterol? Another big one that we've been watching quite a fair bit. And yes, really girthy right here. The weekly looks fucking phenomenal. Weekly Stokes just have a fresh cross. Well, I wouldn't say fresh, but holding into the bullish control zone. Certainly erect right there. Historical volatility percentile on the weekly is looking to expand. Weekly RSI is incredibly constructive over the last going all the way back to January 2018. So this is a 2-year base correlated with this whole base right here. And it's just getting going right now, actually. So not only did we hit our 500 target this week, I would be a little more comfortable extending this medium term to about 540, 550, and long term, I think that the weekly is not going to be that helpful. I think that the monthly is going to show next like major areas somewhere around about 750-ish region. So that obviously is going to take a long time, but yes, things are in motion right now, and basically the market's kind of playing follow the leader with Bitcoin being the leader, BTRL following in second. We see Litecoin actually taking a nice one up as well, and then Hex, right? Hex Hex is going to be great. Hex is going to be going up. It should be at least, right? Yes. Oh, yes, it is on fucking TradingView. This is great. Hey, what's this? This is supposed to have my pumpermentals. My pumpermentals have inverse pump. What the fuck is this? Fuck yeah. Always to the moon. I'm rich again. I'm wrecked. Well, sorry, I shouldn't be laughing because like people probably are feeling this one. So I would never laugh at your financial losses, but what I would laugh at is, well, I wouldn't even laugh at this anyways. Just like, all right, so are you surprised? Wait a second, Krown. Next, you're gonna tell me Sushi's is also not erect. Well, let's check it out. Hey, what's going on here? This one only goes down 2. And if I do my old trick, it still fucking sucks. Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? Surely this one will be good. God fucking damn it, Krown! You idiot. You fucking idiot. Full retrace. This one, well, it already kind of got the full retrace. Is my trick going to work again? Kind of. Ooh. Hey, there you go. Just turn your computer monitors upside down and you can be fake rich. Oh, dear God. Yeah, I'd be looking for some more downside on this one, actually. Number go down. These are Bitcoin pairings, by the way, I should say. Mr. Cardano would never do this, though. Ooh, he actually is popping back up. 650 Satoshis. 650 Satoshis. Krown, we're rallying. Krown, we're rallying. Don't you know? Don't you know? We only have 1,551% more to go until break even. And then I'm coddling. Oh my dear God. This one is starting to put in some heavy divergences here, though, to be fair. But I don't think it's done just yet. I don't think it's done just yet. It's getting close, though. It's getting close. But I don't know. What's the opportunity cost of being in something like this? What's the opportunity cost? What's the opportunity cost of, oh, and then I realized it's not done. It's just getting started, baby. It's just getting motherfucking started over here. Oh my, we even have hidden bearish divergence. Oh, this is just. Sorry, again. I don't have anything against anyone who hodls Cardano. Don't even have anything against Cardano. As far as a chart goes, it's a shitty chart. As are many shitty charts in the space right now. Let's go check out the shitty chart index, in fact. Shitty chart. shitty walk, shitty chart. Yeah, I'd still be looking for this one to pop. Oh. Okay, listen. What I'm about to do next, I don't actually believe works. But just to fan the flames of some, you know, probably this person has like a username that's like XYZ shit chain hodler and then like rocket ship emojis after it. Here we go. Ready for this? Uh-oh. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, this is going to be still long term. I'm looking for this one to shoot up more, actually. 71% probably long term. Short term, though, I don't know. Does it play out an ebb and flow here? Probably does, actually. Actually, probably does. Well, then I looked at the weekly. A little bit of an ebb and flow, but long term, yes, still more upside to go. So most alts going to be losing even more versus Satoshi pairing, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be bad versus US dollar. Link looks great. BUTRL looks great as well, but BUTRL versus Bitcoin. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Q Lexington Steel. Yeah. Well. Shitty chart. Need that on fucking soundbar. Shitty walk, shitty chart.
Oh, you want your shitty sushi here too? Oh, you want your shitty unicorn here too? Oh, shitty rink is going down.
Why is it not racist when someone does an English accent? Oi, mate, the shitty chart going down as well. Doesn't have the same sort of thing here too. Of course. No harm is intended by these statements. Just looking at charts here, sir. Just looking at charts. All right. What about Litecoin? Yeah, we looked at this one yesterday. Who called this one out again? Who the fuck called this one out? Someone called this out, and I want to give them credit for it. Because Litecoin looks like it wants to join the party. So it looks like the rotation, some like Bitcoin, Buterol, Litecoin. Link is a little bit above, I'd say Litecoin, but behind Buterol. Although then again, like Link kind of does its own thing, is fair enough as well. While Litecoin could very nastily pull back all the way down to like low $70 region, that's going to become an incredibly big opportunity going onwards and forwards here, as it does kind of turn the corner. And I suppose next long-term target, or not even maybe a long-term target, but a medium-term target would be $100 even. And then you still got 140 as the big one actually after that. Looking at it right now though, as far as volume goes, you do see that volume is increasing as it does break out. Participation in this rally looking better and better. So fair enough. Looks good. Looks good for continuation overall. Wow, we're 35 minutes into this video, and I need to go wrap this bitch up, huh? Let's actually go on Caretaker's Magic over here and see what the his thing says upside here, probably back up to $19,000. Again, if I'm gonna wrap this up, yes, Caretakers is a little bit bullish here. However, do I trust things over the weekend? I mean, it has been working over the weekend to be fair, but typically my answer to that is no. Going back on over here and referencing the 2-day, this one really supersedes everything else that I do say. Any sort of a 2-day closure tonight, which is going to happen tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, let's just call it above 18,700 because that's an easier number to say. Then I would be looking for continuations, 2 new highs on this run, likely somewhere around this 4 spot, something rather, hey fucker, get over here. Rather, somewhere around the 4 spot, 236 Fibonacci extension, about 19,500, 19,600-ish region. Kind of crazy to say those numbers once again, but yes, I would be looking around there again if that condition is met. However, in the short-term timeframes, I am seeing a little bit of curtailing of momentum. So if I did have to call it on short-term timeframes, actually would be looking for a move back down to about 18.2 to 18.1 and probably a bounce there as well. The only way that I get bearish on this chart right now over the weekend, which I really dislike to trade anyways, and I typically don't, and I really don't like making calls of the weekend either, is by closing a 4-hour doodle below the same pivot that we had yesterday, which is 17,600. If that happens, yes, I would look for a significant downside back down towards, into the $16,000 region and probably beyond. But for right now, Bitcoin is in the twilight zone. Indicators, I would not trust. I would not really trust anything except for just looking at straight up trend here. And until Bitcoin puts in an actual reversal on no less than a daily, I'm not willing to call a high here. And even if Bitcoin does close this next daily, or 2-day, well, by extension it's going to be the same thing as daily as well, below the topside Krown band today, that's not end of rally. That's not a death signal. If it closed let's say below or at $18,000, then yeah, we could talk about that. But as it stands right now, that's just not what we're looking at. So while I do think a little bit of short-term down here is rather likely, I would still put eyes on the 2-day closure for more significant price action, and then we'll come back tomorrow and analyze that and see if further continuation is implied or if we might be looking at our next local high. But with that in mind, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest once again. Take care, and until next time.